over to Dan to pitch Jermaine Toyota Columbus, who has told me no thousands of times. So Dan, take it away.
They've only told me no 500 so far, so I'm pacing for the right direction here. So, all right, cool. Ian, thank you for having me in today. As we
Sure.
talked about, just want to give you a little bit better idea about Edmunds and what we're able to do for you. It's been 5+ years since you guys have partnered with us, and obviously a lot has changed in the automotive industry, not only the industry itself, but also with Edmunds too. So, one thing that I've been having a lot of conversations with about my dealer partners is their different processes that they have within the dealership. Everything from sales, service, BDC, or even acquisition. And, some of these processes are really successful and some are not. But when I ask, what is going to make this process successful, more than not, it always leads back to the same answer, and that's the people, right? So you may have one process in your dealership that may have the right people, may not have the right people. So you'll see ebbs and flows in performance or even peaks and valleys, where on the other end, you have a process that has all the right people and everything is just humming along and you have just an upward trajectory and a very consistent process. And that's what we all want. So at the end of the day, it's about having the right people, right? So really, this is no different when we're talking about marketing. You want to make sure that you're getting in front of the right people because you can have the perfect process in play, but if you're not getting in front of the right people, you're going to get those ebbs and flows and that inconsistency, and nobody wants that. So when we're talking about getting in front of the right people, it is a really difficult thing for you as dealers to do because the shopping journey for consumers is extremely complex, right? On average, there's 35 different touch points that occur. And that's everything from someone having a conversation with a friend or a coworker about a vehicle that they're interested in to the point where they're test driving a vehicle on your lot, right? So there's a lot of different touch points. And just a couple years ago, we were sub 30. So this number is only growing. And in between all of those different touch points, there's 14+ hours that people are spending online. So they're not only touching a lot of different points in that shopping journey, but they're spending even more time. And you're trying to get in front of these people. And getting in front of these people isn't just, each individual time. It's also in different places too, because it's a very fragmented type of process as well, with so many different types of devices, right? 70% of car shoppers are using two different devices. I'm sitting here talking to you today on my laptop with an iPad underneath and an iPhone in my pocket, and that's just three right there. Okay. And then when I go on to that, every household has on average 21 connected devices. So we're talking about those three devices that I just spoke about, plus, my radios in the house, my home, smart hubs, all of these different things that I'm interacting with every single day and in consuming as well. And shoppers are no different. So they're not only spending a lot of time, they're also spending it in different places and consuming media in different places as well. So their days are extremely complex and fragmented too. And this illustration really doesn't do it justice because at the end of the day, a consumer's life, just like your life and my life, are not the same. It's not linear. It's not just every single day I wake up and do this exact same thing. But if we were just kind of gonna throw this into a line and just figure out what person's day looks like, it'll start off with a workout. I envy to be that person. I'm just not that season of life right now. But start off streaming audio. After done with streaming audio, getting a little bit of coffee in, turn on the TV to listen to a little bit of news, radio as well. And then I go on to the office, and throughout the day I'm scrolling through my phone. I'm looking at my timeline, seeing what my friends and my family are doing. And then lastly here, I'm going into the end of the day, going to happy hour. I go on ESPN.com, see what the Guardians, how they played throughout the day, getting that score. And then lastly, sitting down, having a bowl of popcorn and watching some TV. So consumers are doing the same type of action every day in different places, and they're consuming these different types of mediums in different ways as well. Everything from their phones, their smart hubs, listening to audio, and lastly, the big screen TV, the biggest screen of the house. So again, the journey for someone is not linear. It looks much more like something like this, and that's the way the path to purchase is too. There's going to be winding roads, and not because I started on one medium like a audio or connected video doesn't mean that I can't come back there at a different time. So it's a winding road and no longer a straight path to purchase, right? And that's what just the shopping journey is like as well. And that's why it really takes an omni-channel style approach to make sure that you're getting in front of these shoppers no matter where they're at. because they are in different places at different times throughout the day. And there's so many different types of products that you want to be in front of, but just getting in front of those right types of shoppers. Everything from the listings and the social, popular display ads, like I talked about, ESPN.com. And then lastly, here, how more and more people are cutting the cord and going into connected video instead of their traditional over the top box there. So how we can help you is with Edmunds is being able to get you in front of our shoppers on all of those different types of platforms, and then the other types of services that we have as well. Everything from our reviews on our website. We have acquisition and cash offers that we can present to customers too. So being able to get in front of all of those shoppers on all of those different devices, as well as those different platforms, and giving the information that they are looking for. So when we're talking about what you're trying to do for your dealership is get in front of in-market shoppers. And the way to get in front of in-market shoppers is to partner with people who have the right audience. And Edmunds is going to give you the right audience. If we look at just a few stats here, 21.3% of all shoppers, or I'm sorry, buyers, car buyers, use Edmunds in their purchase. That means 1 in 5 shoppers are using Edmunds, which is extremely strong. Not only that, Edmunds shoppers are 2.9 times more likely to buy versus shoppers who didn't use Edmunds prior to visiting the dealership's website. Okay. Now, those are going to just be national statistics there about our shoppers and how they engage with our dealership partners and how they transfer from shoppers to buyers. But when we're just looking at your backyard here, you have over 227,000 people within a 50-mile radius. And I know that we're talking about metro and that can be, a good amount of distance, but when we're talking again about Toyota, your inventory is a little bit tighter than you would typically like. So being able to reach those shoppers who are definitely willing to drive over 50 miles to get to your vehicle, we want to make sure that we're getting in front of them too, both on new and used. But if we do tighten it down to just the metro area within a 15-mile radius, you still have almost 160,000 people in the past 90 days who are looking for a vehicle that's living in your inventory. Now, what's great again is we have 1 in 5 shoppers, car buyers are using Edmunds. Our shoppers are more likely to buy. We have all of these shoppers, but the problem is none of your inventory is available to them right now. And that's what we want to look at is being able to drive your inventory and get your inventory in front of them. And if we just look and see, okay, where are these shoppers going? How are they engaging? This is just another example of how we can help you. I'm telling you how great our customers are. Now let me show you. This is going to show over the past 3 months of another Ohio Toyota dealer, very similar size, kind of metro, but you can see here we're their number 3 paid source of traffic overall. And we're netting down to less than 50-cent cost per session. So it's only costing 50 cents to drive shoppers to your website with every visit. And not only that, our traffic is 100% net new for this dealer. We're driving new eyeballs on inventory every single day, and that's exactly what they want us to do. And that's what we can provide to you. Now, not only is driving traffic super important, but Ian, let me ask you a question here. When you're looking at reviewing your vendors and how they're driving traffic to you, do you ever look at anything when it comes to the rate of return or how the quality of a customer is important?
I've never looked at that. I usually just look at leads.
Sure. No, and everybody, when we're looking at GA4, it's one of those things that we're coming up on 2 years now. So not everybody is still using a lot. And it's so easy just to look right into your CRM because that's where you're spending all your time anyways, right? And I
Yeah,
want to see where these sources of traffic are driving leads, right? But we know if we look historically, I'm sure you feel it too when you look historically, that lead volume is declining over time, right?
for sure.
And that's unfortunately that's just the way that people are consuming. I do that every single day. I'm a consumer and I shop for a lot of different things and I never submit my email for anything. Do you?
No, I don't. I actually don't. So
Yeah. So same thing. I mean, sure, you can get a 15% off on buying a bicycle, but you know what? At the same time, I just don't want those marketing messages. So you and I kind of fall in that same thing. So if we were going to go buy any kind of item and we go through the whole process, we go to the website, we, purchase something, but we don't submit a lead, if we were just judging everything off of the CRM, we technically have no value to that business, right? And this is where we're going to start looking at engagement. Okay. So just like when you have someone that comes to your lot, if they've already been there and they come back, a be back, they're of a higher value, right? They're more engaged, they're more likely to buy. wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they've been to the website multiple times.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
this report gives us a little bit of that engagement. And this is a cohort report, okay? So if you've never seen this before, this is something that we can build within GA, and I can actually do it here for you today so you can know right now what are the best sources of traffic that not only drive a lot of traffic to you, but also come back over time. So this is my digital be back report, okay? And for this store right here, you'll see over in the blue, there is a 4.8%. What that represents is about 5% of the people that came to this dealerships last week will come back the following week. Okay. And every single one after that follows that same thing. So you can see we have broken down in green their organic traffic. So almost 7%. So a little bit stronger. People are recognizing them. They want to come back. Then you have Google paid search, right? You could see that they were one of their top source of traffic. So they're definitely investing a lot of money, and about 5% are coming back. And then lastly, here we have Edmunds, which is 2 times what Google paid search is driving, but 10%. So we're able to tell this dealership on average 10% of the people that we drive to your website last week, which are all new, are going to come back the following week, which is a pretty strong report. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, perfect. So you can see in the top right here too, there's a stat, that 9.3, and then there's Clairvoy. Are you familiar with Clairvoy?
Yeah, they're a Columbus-based company, so I actually know who they are. They've been
Yeah,
here.
exactly. So one of their biggest things is about multi-touch attribution. And they've done a report recently that stated that the average shopper's path to purchase includes 9.3 visits to the dealership's website, which sounds like a lot. And it is, right? Just a couple years ago, we were at about 6.4. So that means almost 10 times a person's coming to your website before they make a purchase. Okay. So again, we're talking about that digital be back. And this next slide is going to show a little bit more into that. Okay. This is a session frequency report. So I know this is a lot of numbers, so I'm going to just break it down very easily here. So over the previous 3 months, this dealership has had 57,000 users that came to their website, right? That looked at VDPs, eyeballs on inventory. I'm sure if you saw that same kind of number, you'd be super excited. I've got 57,000 people that are looking to purchase a vehicle.
Yeah.
But how long would it take you to sell 57,000 people a car?
Duh.
Years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So let's just like call it what it is. Like, not all traffic is created equal, right? So those 57,000 people aren't really, all the same. So if we narrow it down to that last column with 9+ sessions and following what Clairvoy's saying, who's a leader when it comes to multi-touch attribution, it's really closer to 1900 in that span of time. So, and for the dealer, when I'm speaking with them, that's much easier to sink your teeth into. That 1900 people could be more likely in line for purchasing a vehicle from this store with the volume that you guys know to be true. But of those 1900 people, Edmunds makes up 23% of those shoppers that are coming back 9+ times. So when we're coming to you, I'm not just telling you that, yeah, we're going to drive a lot of traffic, which I showed you, but the traffic that we're driving you is new and they're coming back multiple times, right? So the other thing is, I should have probably mentioned this, is if you and I know that everybody that came to your dealership and purchased a vehicle for you, if we could agree on 3 things: they came to your website, they looked at inventory on your website, and they came back more than one time, does that seem all likely for a shopper?
Yeah. Seems like a quality shopper to me.
That seems like quality shopper. Perfect. So that's exactly what these reports are able to show you. And this is based off of just the dealer's data. And this is exactly what we can show you month in, month out. Not only with Edmunds and what we're able to present to you, but also what you're doing with all of your other paid sources of traffic. Because again, not all traffic is created equal. So now a lot of people then say, all right, Dan, you're driving all this traffic, but how are they actually coming to you? Right. And if I were to just say, Ian, they're just going to Edmunds.com and looking up Jermaine Toyota of Columbus, I wouldn't be the most forthcoming person. So I'm not going to tell you that. What they're doing is they're going to Google, just like they do for everything else, just like you and I would for shopping for a TV, for a couch, whatever it is. So they'll type in 2023 Chevrolet Traverse, and they have, their VLAs at the top. Google does a really good job of, compiling a bunch of information about the vehicle and using trusted sources like Car and Driver, Edmunds.com for their reviews. And then you can see underneath the VLAs, there's going to be the organic listings here. So Car and Driver is the first one and Edmunds is the second. We're typically going to be in those first 2 slots there. But if you click on either that one or the reviews in that Google listing profile, you're going to be driven directly to the model page for the 2023 Chevrolet Traverse. So this is what we're trying to do, is make it a seamless process for someone when they're looking for a specific type of vehicle. They're going to that model page where they can see all the pictures, they can see all of the different trims, they can see the reviews that are written by our staff writers. And then eventually they can go find the vehicle that's right for them and see all of the vehicles that are fitting that same criteria, which again, we aren't able to do currently right now with your inventory. And that's what we want to be able to do. Okay. So again, this is how we're able to do it, by driving all of these highly engaged shoppers to our dealer partners through an omni-channel style approach. Okay. Our audience is doing multiple different things throughout the day, whether it's engaging with listings or social display, their connected video, or even streaming video or streaming audio. But what I've done today here is put a couple packages together for you so you can see how you can now start getting your inventory in front of these shoppers and getting your website and getting these shoppers to you. Okay. So right here, I've put together 3 different packages. A start package, which would get you all of your listings, all of your new and used inventory on Edmunds. They'd have the opportunity to utilize the chat platform on our website as well as yours. And you already are using max offer, so I've already included that. And then lastly, Edmunds Premier, which would be able to get all of those shoppers who have previously viewed your inventory and then get back in front of them on Facebook and Instagram. From there, there's a compete package, which is going to include everything in the start package, plus the instant cash offer and service acquisition, as well as the display advertising, like what I talked about on ESPN.com. And then lastly, Dominate. So everything that's included, as well as connected video and audio. The full omni-channel style approach to be able to get in front of shoppers wherever they are and however they're consuming. So seeing everything that you have today about the in-market shoppers that we have and how we perform for other Toyota dealers, I've put these together. Whichever package would fit your needs best would be, what we could get started here probably within the next 3 to 5 business days.